for the Hustler 4 BTD. It's a spider. And apparently it has something to do with 40 meters. I didn't get that exactly, but it's free for the shipping. And he also has for free for the shipping. He has a whole bunch of low impedance hand mics. Get a number on that, please? That is kilowatt 6 Zulu Yankee KK6NY. And you can get a hold of Dave at 707
Yeah.
599 2116.
So that's the Heathkit SB-610 Station Monitor, currently in a receive function. This is just a receiver. The transmitter needs a little work. But so what I had to do is I had to add an IF tap from tube V7, the plate, and I used a 10 picofarad capacitor to the rearward jack, and through RG62 coax that feeds the station monitor here. And then I also added an IF tap to the second RF mixer, which is V3, which is that tube right there in front of the big can. And I used a 10 picofarad capacitor for that too. That's supposed to feed the SB-620, but it's not really working right now. The 610 was a basket case from the ham swap down in the Bay Area last year. I had to rebuild the vertical amplifier section here. Pin 4, which is responsible for the tube heater, and pin 5, the plate, they shorted out at some point, and the whole tube socket was torched, so I had to put a new tube socket in. That's the frontward small tube there next to the little square can. But it's working pretty good. I gotta do some silk screening, practicing on it still, and then put it back together the rest of the way. The problem with I'm facing now is the IF taps. They, I think the capacitors, the 10 picofarad capacitors, are too large, because I've noticed the performance on the receiver has dwindled a little bit, especially 15 meters and above, and fully peaked. An S9 is maxing out the display on this, and usually it's pretty hard to do that, to max out the display on this, and I think the capacitors need to be decreased. So so after I fixed the vertical amplifier section, I was able to test it using an old ICO 324 signal generator and an oscilloscope here, and it came up with a signal that would look something close to this. Right? See how it's constant like that? 3395 kilocycles, which is the IF frequency in the receiver. So, yeah, that's irritating. Anyway, that's where the projects are at. So I guess I'll fix the capacitors this weekend. I'm not going to get to the transmitter, unfortunately. This is just going through a lot of, well, it's got oxidation issues, and that can cause issues like if you're relying on mechanical connections for grounding a circuit. So everything's going to go. I'm going to go through everything and clean the potentiometers and you know, a general cleaning really. There's some basic non-electrical tests that you can run for impedance and resistance, and then we'll do voltage tests after bringing it up on a variable transformer, which is this thing here. And if no capacitors pop, then, you know, we'll start keying up and seeing if we can transmit, but that's probably a few weeks away. Anyway, thanks for watching.